Hey, what's word players? I'm A here to Combo Breaker. Man, it's great to be back. So I'm gonna go check in. Back home. By the time I arrived to Combo Breaker, I just missed the time to be able to play Marvel ToeCon that day. But I'll be back in on Saturday. Alright, I'm back in my hotel. That's the end of day one of Combo Breaker. I mainly just played some casuals to prepare for my brackets tomorrow. And I gotta say, I think playing these casuals has made me realize I may not have this. I'm all the more nervous about how tomorrow's gonna go, especially Virtua Fighter, because oh my gosh, I was having a rough time. Fatal Fury was one thing because I'm still trying to get used to the game, but Virtua Fighter is my game. Yeah, I was like getting my butt handed to me in casuals, so I don't know. This doesn't bode well for me tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll just try to have fun. We'll just try to focus on having fun. Yeah, I'm pretty tired. It is about 1:45 a.m. right now. I still have to eat. Luckily, I brought food with me, so it saves me money on having to go out to eat. And believe me, this weekend I'm trying to save money. So just gonna eat food that I brought with me, and then we'll see how tomorrow goes. All right, so it is currently 6:36 right now. I'm still really tired from last night, but gonna get some breakfast, then we're gonna head back to the venue and see how this goes. Alright, about to head to City of the Wolves. I feel like I'm walking to a death march. This is footage of casuals before my City of the Wolves pools. My first opponent didn't show up, which meant that I automatically advanced to winners round 2. Unfortunately, that meant that my first opponent of the day would be Chris G, who we don't know is a high level Marvel 3 player and just a really good player overall. After I drowned in pools and saved the wolves, I got in line for Marvel ToeCon. I chatted with the guy behind me because it was a really long line. He was a really cool guy. I asked if he'd be down to study the Bible, but he politely declined. We did play ToeCon together, which was really cool. There was a very strict 10-minute time limit once you're in, with very limited space. I hurried up to set up my tripod, but in my rush to get as much playtime as possible, I unfortunately blocked the camera. Luckily, other people got far better footage they can find here on YouTube. I got to play Black Panther on point with Doom, Magic, and Iron Man. There wasn't enough time to really learn the game, so I wasn't entirely sure how to play, as I didn't play the previous betas. But what I can say is that the game looks great in person, and Black Panther is pretty fun. So I have a little bit of time to kill before my Virtua Fighter pool starts, so just eating some lunch, which is a great way to save money because food is definitely something that can add up at a major. So you can definitely pack yourself a lunch. It will save you some money. All right, so I'm walking back to the venue, and since I still got some time for pools, I'm gonna start reaching out to people. I'm obviously not gonna record it because I think that'd be a little weird. I feel like that's more of a private thing than something to film for content. But I guess I'll just let you know how it goes afterwards. do as well as I hoped to in Virtua Fighter. So I just grabbed some food really quick and then go back and evangelize, play some games, and just hang out with the rest of the night before I head back tomorrow. Alright, y'all, I'm back at my hotel, which means that is going to close another chapter at Combo Breaker, because unfortunately I won't be here for day 3 to watch the remaining top 8, just because I have church things in the morning and it will be way too much driving back and forth to make it back to Combo Breaker, so I'll just have to watch the remaining stuff online. But overall, I had a lot of fun. A little disappointed that I didn't do as well in Virtua Fighter as I would have hoped. But it was fun. It was great being able to play against other players and then also be able to ask for feedback from an actual live person. Not that you can't ask for advice and stuff online, but it's I don't know, it's a little bit different when you're like playing against someone and then you could just ask them like, hey, what's something I need to work on? So it's something that's very special about offline competition versus online that I really appreciate. What was crazy is that I actually bumped into a guy that I used to play a lot of Smash 4 back in college, so that was crazy to bump into him here. But I guess that's just the thing with majors, aren't there? There's usually a time for a reunion where people all come together that they haven't seen each other in a long time. In terms of evangelism, okay, I'll be completely honest with y'all. I did not do as well as I hoped. I did share my faith with a few people. Got some no's, of course. But yeah, I'm finding out that I have a really hard time just going up to someone, just completely cold contact and just going for it. Like, I'm very much more of a build a relationship type guy. So it means I'm less focused on reaching out to a crazy number of people like I initially went into this thinking, because this Combo Breaker had like over 7,000 people. I was definitely going into it thinking that I could reach a good portion of them. But I think what was actually the most effective was when I was waiting in line for Tokon. Because how long the line was, I actually just chatted up with the guy that was behind me. And we were just talking about Tokon, which led to talk about fighting games in general and knowing about each other. And then I just, just casually brought up, hey, because I have my Bible with me. That's the kind of a thing I do. I just carry my Bible with me. Hey, if people can walk around with like their plushies and their merch and all that stuff was any different than me walking around with my Bible. And I said, hey, I point out that I have my Bible on me. Would you ever be interested in studying the Bible? And he declined, but he was really cool about it. And we actually played Tokon together, which was really cool. I feel like that was probably the best evangelism that I did today. I feel like that was probably the most effective, because who knows, maybe he'll remember me, and at the very least a seed has been planted that, you never know, maybe God will grow down the line, and maybe I will never see the fruits of what that conversation and playing Tokon was like, but maybe someone else will see the fruits of that. So yeah, I kind of wish I had more of those interactions instead of I went into it thinking I was going to reach a ton of people. Me and one of my friends from my local played an indie game called Netcode Warriors, which I believe is a game that I saw Diaphone play, which is where I first found out about this game. That was pretty fun. It's like an arena fighter with high-low mix, which is actually pretty dope. But yeah, other than Street Fighter and Virtua Fighter, I also caught some City of the Wolves, which was really cool to watch. This was the first time that I've gone to a major, at least in a really long time, with stick since I've gone back to using stick. City of the Wolves was really rough. I had a lot of missed inputs, but that's also just due to the fact that I don't really play City of the Wolves as much as I would have liked, so that was going to happen regardless if I was on liverless or on stick. Virtua Fighter, I'm sorry, I had to cheat and go back to leverless because when I was playing casuals on stick, it was ugly. I could barely move, I could barely do anything. It was almost like I haven't played the game like at all. So I had to cheat and play my bracket with leverless. But who knows, maybe the next time I go to a major, by then I will have gotten a lot more comfortable with using sticks, so that can just be my main way of play. Yeah, the Tokon booth, we got blind baggies of different pins, and I got one of Storm. Alright, I'm like falling asleep as I'm recording right now, so I'm gonna eat some late night dinner and I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. I have no idea how this video is gonna turn out. Hopefully it's not too scatterbrained and all over the place, and I can somehow make this coherent. And if you haven't gone to Combo Breaker, I would highly recommend you do so. It is okay, granted, Combo Breaker and Frosty Faustings are the only majors that I've been to, but I can at least attest that Combo Breaker is really great to go to, especially if you are able to make it on Sunday, because the room is electric. If you're looking for a non-denominational church, down in the description below will be a link to a church locator. Also down there you'll find a link to two Discords. One is my Discord and the other to the Christian fighting game community Discord. Feel free to join those if you'd like. Also, if you'd like, it'd be great if you could like the video just so that it helps out the channel. Alright y'all, I'm gonna crash, so I will see y'all next time. Take care. Peace.